We got 4 niggas and low riders and ski masks screaming thug like every time they pass, all eyes on me.
I beat up the directors, the ministers decide. Let me tell the whole world.
All right, tell them how you did what you had to
These
do.
chump, punk, slump, you know what I'm saying?
The violent incident is what we're talking about?
No, we're talking about what you just talked about was in the office.
Oh,
he
yeah.
left his office.
Yeah.
And left your office. That
Yeah.
was on what set?
That was for Menace. That was in the production office for Menace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
before we start shooting.
Before you started shooting, and then you didn't see him again until a year later?
I didn't see him again till maybe it was 10 months later when the incident happened with the gangbangers, he and I.
What happened?
Well, what happened was Tupac was fired from Menace because there was a contract that, you stipulate you got to be there, you got to be this, you got to be. And long story short, New Line Cinema got uncomfortable, and he was relieved of his duties, and another actor took the role. And he had been, running around. I heard through mutual friends that he was like, he wanted to get at me, and my brother, and he had said it on a few radio stations. And then it culminated with him being on Yo MTV Raps, where they were promoting Poetic Justice. He went out of his way to say, when I see them niggas in traffic, it's on. And he was going so far out of his way that, what's my man's name, the skinny one?
Ed
Lover.
Who, by the way, has a show on Backspin every single day on Sirius XM. Make sure you check out Ed Lover, channel 46.
Ed Lover, check the footage. Ed Lover put his hand, it's in the documentary of Tupac, and was trying to hold his mouth. John Singer was trying to hold his mouth because they knew what he was doing, Long story short, there was the second single for Trigger's Got No Heart by Spice One. I was just showing up to support Spice One, and I wasn't directing the video, and neither was my brother. And I pulled up in the vehicle with my friend, my brother, and over on the street corner was Tupac with about 12, 13 Crips, rolling 40s. We hadn't even heard of rolling 40s before. Heard of rolling 60s. And they were, they had 40 ounces, and they were smoking weed. And I immediately knew what was happening. I said, he's foaming the runway for an ass whooping right now, gangbang. And I said, damn. So what could I do? I got in my car, and Tupac approached me, and they all surrounded Tupac, me, and in the doorway. And Tupac was like, yo, why you do this? Why you do that? And I said, look, I called you. Everything he was asking me, I had an answer for. I had a very, civil answer for it, a very honest answer for it. And you could tell Tupac is a highly intelligent person. We got to get into that in a second, And he was like, you can see him going, yeah, he's right. So then he said, something. And I was like, something. And he was like, yeah, he's right. He's thinking. And the guy right next to him was like, punch him in the mouth. Punch him in the mouth. At that point, it's gotten violent. Like he has to do something. So I found a way to squeeze out of the corner of my car and get past them and walk down the street. I go, look, what am I going to do? You got 15 motherfuckers here. You know what I'm saying? And I walked across the street, and I can only liken it to, because I've been hit in the back of the head with a Nerf ball before. Somebody hit me in the back of the head with a Nerf ball, and I went, oh, shit. Did Tupac just blindside me? And I turned around, lo and behold, he was right there. And it felt like it wasn't, it just felt like a tap. And he was sitting there like this. Cut to, all I remember is him over my head. And next thing I remember is on this other side of the street, he's on top of the trunk of a truck. And I'm going like this is a movie. My fist is coming back like this. I got him by the neck. And I'm getting ready to punch him. And just like a movie, I get snatched off him. And then it's just a bum rush, and everybody just start rat packing me, and it was like raging bull, blood spurting everywhere, and I just felt my body just contort. I'd never been, rat packed before. I was just shocked I didn't feel anything.
So now when people hear this story, they're gonna think that you mean to tell me you picked up Tupac over your head and slammed him on a car?
Yeah, I mean
they're not gonna believe it.
Yeah, I mean to tell you this: Tupac was a $140 wet with a brick. Okay, I'm 210 on my lightest day. Okay. And Tupac was a shooter. I mean, we know that, but he wasn't no fighting dude. He was a shooter though. When those two off-duty cops tried to get at him,
wait. We ain't gonna go that deep. You pull back now. Alan, pull out.
He can
Rewind.
They were in the wrong. They were in the wrong.
Yeah. Okay, and then the rest.
So, by the way, Oh, you want me to cut to the short part?
Yeah, no, keep going.
Okay, so what happened was I'm hanging down like this, and then I want to get to my man, my friend Tupac. Then I really want to get to my friend. You know, I'm hanging down like this, and there's blood dripping. All I can see is the concrete, and Tupac is about 10 feet away from me, going, "Yo, dog, get my change, get my change." And I'm like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And I'm hunched over. One of the gangbangers goes, "Yo, dog, give me his change." And I'm like, "Change?" I look down on my hand at all his change from his neck, all his gold change from his neck. I said, "Yo, goddamn, I'm over here. I'm twisted. I'm a bloody pulp." And he couldn't come get his change out of my hand. I didn't even know I had his change in my hand, right? So long story short, that's what happened. I called somebody, an emissary of a mutual friend. I said, "Look, just tell Tupac meet me in the park. Let's just meet in the park. Let's just settle this like men, you know, after the incident." And they were like, nah, Tupac, Tupac, so whatever. Months later, because it did go to trial and all this, I won't get into that. Vibe magazine did an interview, his last interview with him, and they asked him, they said, "Is there anybody you want to apologize to?" He said, "I only want to apologize to two people, Quincy Jones, for that shit I said about him and white women." And at the time he was dating Quincy's daughter. And he goes, "I want to apologize to the Hughes brothers because I was wrong. I was wrong, you know." So, and the tragedy is, you know, and you know, the agony and the ecstasy is, he was just a rock star. He just was that talented and more talented than we ever got to see. In fact, the thing I tell people that most people don't know is he was dummying himself down for his rap verses. You know, he was making it more Simple Simon so people could understand it and connect to it. He was vastly more intelligent than his rhymes or his music. He was a voracious reader. He was a sweet, kind man. You know, he was multi-talented. We know that. You know, he had a humongous heart. And the thing with him, like a lot of young black males, and we obviously know this, he had mad daddy issues. You know, he had mad daddy issues. I got him. You know, I'm saying that's why we connected. You know, but you know, I feel like we lost someone bigger than Marilyn Monroe or James Dean. You know, we lost. That was a great loss.
Wow, you know? Man, that, you know,
that's the short story.
That's the short story. And in all fairness, Tupac obviously isn't here to tell his version of it, but we never heard yours, and I wanted to give you that platform. You know, and it's funny you say that because about how intelligent he was. Because I'm from Oakland. I used to hang out at his apartment with him over by the lake.
Lake Merritt.
Lake Merritt. Yeah. I used to be over there. And when we did one of his last interviews, one of the things he said to me was, "Sway, man, I'm making the hardest music I can and saying what people want to hear most. So I could get the most amount of people who need to hear this to follow me. And then I'm going to come back and tell them what they need to hear most."
That's right.
But he didn't get a chance to do
No,
it.
he didn't.
You know.
He didn't. And you know what I find interesting too, because I want to pay respect to him and his mother, his family, you know, and I'm not here to, you know, I love Tupac, you know, and there's the mythology, you know, when somebody becomes James Dean, and you gotta honor that. And over the years, I haven't said anything because we only have so many, you know, heroes, let alone black heroes or icons or legends, and you don't want to denigrate that, especially when one has gotten that far up the, you know, in the pantheon of the gods, you know, whether it be MLK or Malcolm X or even Tupac, you know. So it's been very difficult, and that's why I have not told that story because, you know, you shouldn't really, you know, unless it's the appropriate form and there's the right warmth and heart around. When I walked into the studio, I was like, all right, this is it, you know. So I really appreciate you guys bringing it out of me.
No. I mean, it's a story that I think. I mean, any information about Pac, and I appreciate you saying the positive side of who he was and who in many ways still is. His spirit is still there. You know, and there's a lot of stories I don't tell. You know?